Mic check test 1, check test 2.
Well, it's 3 o'clock and we don't have a quorum, so talk amongst yourself.
Yeah, then quick question. We may want to wait and start the meeting after we quickly swear Kyle in, because I don't think he can vote if he's not sworn
Good
in.
point. Is
I
Kyle?
mean, well, take a minute. It'll take a second to do it.
Okay, and where is Kyle?
And we do on my front.
Okay,
Official. City.
Now that I've found.
So you're some green.
Like one chair.
That man. It's the time. Okay.
These are fine. These are fine. It was,
I mean, your ears.
I know. It's
Weird looking ears.
I know, they don't look weird, but they are weird. We just, sit at a weird level on our necks. So, like the glasses have to be
They're waiting because they don't.
That's our backup plan. They can't go like straight like that.
They don't know. Okay. We'll call on professional. Because
1, 2, 3. Now Paul is here.
who's here?
but
Hi, Paul.
Well, that's 3.
this guy comes in.
Happy summer so far, right?
That guy.
I was just curious if y'all.
Paul, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
And we're not doctors. People always
Go
come to us,
IU.
you know, we-
Go Hoosiers. Long-suffering fan.
Hey, I'm a Lions fan. I'm relishing in the current situation with all those.
They had a
moves.
good season.
Yeah, I know.
Almost got there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting how things turn. There's so many teams that it seems like they're changing these days. Like Houston now, is like unbelievably doing well.
A couple of enhancements is about all you need.
Yeah,
I like Detroit's coach.
I do too.
I watched that HBO
Yeah,
behind-the-scenes thing.
right.
You really get to know the players and coaches and all that stuff.
Yeah, yep.
Good franchise.
Right.
Good franchise.
Hopefully that lasts and they can keep going. At least being competitive like we used to come.
Obviously, we're paying.
You know, it may not be winning the Super Bowl, but at least being something more than just the. We're the ones that went
I had one.
victorless in that season.
She just got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting season. We're ready for a long summer first.
Right. Yeah.
For some reason, I got engaged and decided how important to credit. You're
swearing Mr. Crowley in right now?
Indianapolis and
Oh,
staying
good.
for us. But you know, it is. You do. I'm not saying I got it. A lot of people may say I don't, but
Oh, yeah, there's a good put in there. How old is he? That's about how old my brother's. 5 years ago.
Paul, good. I noticed that IU apparel shows up a lot.
Yes, it does.
My dad wears it.
I'll be watching in football season to see if you wear it
Are they the same length?
same
Well,
amount.
yeah, it's going to be interesting. I've had season tickets for
Oh, well, then I don't know.
20 plus years.
Is that right?
I did not renew this year, but I just got a call yesterday asking me one last chance, you know.
What did I do?
They've
I'll probably
made
do it.
some Interesting changes over the,
You're confident.
you know.
Well, Kyle is here, and he makes the
portal and
quorum.
Stuff like that, some interesting.
Thank you, and welcome, Kyle, to your first meeting. We do have a new board member. As you know, Sharon Tucker is now the mayor of the city of Fort Wayne. That was a county council appointee. County council appointed Kyle Curley to take her place. And so we do welcome you and hope you enjoy your service on the board.
Thank you.
Okay. With that being said, let's have a roll call. I will call the roll. I don't see Gloria here.
Marty's coming in.
Not yet.
Kyle Curley,
Here.
Paul Moss,
Here.
Pat Pastrick,
Here.
Marty Seifert. I'm here. And I'm here. So we're all 5 here and 2 absent. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda for the evening?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed by nay. And if there are no objections, I'd like to group the approval of the minutes, A, B, and C. Motion to approve the minutes of the regular session of April 25th, 2024. Minutes of the executive session of the same date, and minutes of approval of claims May 10th, 2024.
So moved.
And a second, please. Thank you, Paul. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by aye,
Aye.
and opposed by nay. We have the financial report in our packets, and Dave will walk us through it.
All right, thank you, Ben. Yes, couple of lines to report on for spending. I've noted it in the treasurer's report. Travel and training, this is a dynamic going on. That we had a tremendous number of conferences and items that hit early in the year, and sending folks to them has sent that line over or ahead of schedule. I'm not convinced we'll need to move money in it because I think it's now tapered off where we won't have much for the rest of the year, but we got to keep an eye on it. It's spending higher, I wanted to note it. And then the building repairs and maintenance, that one is purely due to the DuPont roof repair that was in there. So that one, we will need to move some money in from other lines, probably the capital line, toward the end of the year when we do the year-end budget transfers. Those are the only lines that right now are spending ahead of benchmark. The rest of them are minding and, performing well. As far as news and notes, the items I've marked in here, the audit is winding down. I got word from the Crow LLC, the auditors, that they are finishing, they have actually finished their review. They've turned it over to their team in Indianapolis for review. The fact that they've turned it over and haven't called me means that that's a good sign. There's nothing that they want corrected. I'll believe it when I get the final report. But, so far that's a good sign, and makes it even better that the June 30th deadline for the submission of the annual comprehensive financial report will be met on time. So, and Ben, I know you're involved because the exit conference, I'm sure they'll be setting that up soon.
I look forward to that.
I know. And then this morning was the first budget workshop for the 25 budget. Nothing really, critical coming out of that. Just went over the calendar, the dates and things. As I reminded folks, I'm going to put in next, now that we've had the meeting today and we have the official calendar, I'll put in your packet next month the budget calendar. We're still looking at a September introduction, October passage, public hearing in September like we did last year. If you recall, we are limited for 24 and 25 to a 4% growth quotient. So even though the growth quotient may be calculated at a higher amount, legislation is limiting it to a cap of 4%. So we'll get a lot of those details later in June and July. As you recall, a lot of that information comes out at that time. Last thing is, though, good news, we did receive another supplemental local income tax distribution. This is triggered by the amount on deposit at the state being over 15% of what it should be, so that triggers the distribution. As I noted, we are in line for an extra $958,000. Little down from last year, which was 1.5 million, but still good news, and especially with us doing the roof project and the DuPont roof, or the DuPont roof repair, we can use the extra money this year for that. So,
Is there any limit to the amount over 15%?
no, it's what's collected. So whatever amount that is collected over this 15%, so whatever, let's say they had the budget of $1 million and they went over $1,150,000 or $1,150,000, all that then gets cleared out. Yeah. And it's distributed to all the entities that receive local income tax
Right.
in the county and stuff. So, no, it's last few years, because of the economy going so well and the collections of income taxes being high, that's been the case. As Nick Jordan and I were talking, we don't count on it during budget session because you never know. It's purely a volatile income source. We always budget what the certified amount coming from the state is for the subsequent year lit. If we get a supplemental, great.
Yeah. Questions of Dave? Can I have a motion, please, to approve the financial report for April?
So moved.
And the second?
Second.
Any additional comments? All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed by nay. That passes. We have our claims.
Yep, I've got a claims register today, around a $407,000 total. We have the two highest claims are $407,000. 107 is insurance premiums. We're coming up to the point in July where we have a lot of the policies renewing, so that's part of the claims today. And then the typical system-wide electrical service, that's $60,000, about $61,000 this year. Well, those are the two top ones. The rest are all books and non-print items like ebooks and things like that.
Questions of the claims? They'll be circulated, and may have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Any further comment? All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed by nay. Speaking of insurance, how is our self-insurance fund?
It's great. It's really done well. I mean, I think the best thing we have done over the years has been the whole wellness initiatives. Our consultants tell us every time, the big ticket items for self-insurance that can really hurt it is heart conditions, cancer, catastrophic. And because of the wellness initiatives that put incentives for taking care of yourself, getting to the doctor, getting checked, making sure you're, doing, what kind of healthy things you're needing, that has, turned out to be very true, what we heard early on. Back when we put this thing in 2011, they said, you're not going to see results for a long time because it's hard to distinguish. But you start looking at us against peers and benchmarks, and we are so much lower. And, obviously, you never know what can happen, but we still have a very, very healthy balance. Our objective was always a year and a half of claims to be covered in the fund balance. We are still over 2 years' worth of claims at this point because the projections keep coming in lower. And if you recall, last year in the budget for 2024, I reduced the amount of premium that we were charging to the employer side. We're looking like we're going to need to do that, not need to do it, but should do it again and be able to save money because we just don't need the funds in there. In fact, as you recall, Ben, from the audit last year, they're like, you probably need to reduce that. It's supposed to be a pay-for-itself type situation. Well, you're paying for it really well. So, yeah.
Great. Well, thank you.
Sure.
Would you like to introduce the
I
Summer
certainly
Spark
would,
program?
yes. So this is a presentation that the trustees look forward to every year. It is go time for our summer learning program, which launches June 1st. And I'd love to introduce you to Jacki Fulwood, our youth services manager. It's doubly exciting because this is Jacki's first summer with us. You may remember that she joined the team back in November of last year from the Dayton Public Library, and she's provided tremendous leadership in this flagship program. And I'll turn it over to her to tell you what we have in store this summer.
Let's see if the mic's on. Oh, it is. Thank you, Susan. All right, so even if you are new to the board, you are probably familiar with our Summer Spark program. But we are going to go ahead and watch the commercial that our amazing marketing team put together. If it will play in PowerPoint. I can also just skip it if we need to. Okay.
This summer, embark on an epic journey of learning and discovery at the library. From June 1st to July 31st, join us for our summer learning program where the adventure begins. Unlock your imagination, dive into new worlds, and earn prizes by reading and exploring the world around you. Visit your library today. Adventure begins at your library. See you there.
And you'll hear me give a few more shout outs to the marketing department as we go through this. They do amazing work, and this is in some ways as much their show as mine. A quick overview of the program. As you probably know, this is our summer reading and learning program. It is open to people of all ages and people of all abilities. They can earn incentives for reading, for attending library programs, and for doing some active learning, which I'll tell you about in a second. This also includes educational, entertaining programs and performers for all ages throughout the summer at all of our locations. And it encourages everyone to do some summer reading and some summer learning. I have made a few changes, so I am brand new, so this was a good opportunity for me to come in and put some fresh eyes on the program and talk with staff about how they would like to see it change and develop. This year, one big change we have made is that it is not just reading and it is not just attending library programs anymore. It is also what we have called active learning, which means any learning that you do with, or any activity that you do with the goal of learning a new skill or learning new knowledge. We are going to be giving people suggested activities on our summer tracker. So you can see there's a few for different ages here. This will also be in our software Beanstack, which we use to track people's activity. But they can also pick their own learning journey. For example, we didn't suggest going to the zoo as a learning activity, but that's definitely a learning activity, so they would be able to count that. Library programs will still count under this umbrella. And this gives patrons also the opportunity to just have a little bit more choice and a little bit more flexibility with the program. The way that we are tracking time is also new this year. Instead of saying, we need you to read for exactly this many hours or exactly this many minutes, we're going to try to build a daily habit in our participants. So every day when they read or learn, they will track their activity on the front of their summer tracker by filling out one bubble. And then once they've filled out 15 days worth of learning or reading, they can pick up a free book. They can pick up a rainbow journal if they're an adult, and then every time they complete another 15 days, they're eligible for another incentive. This allows for more open-ended choice. It is very flexible for all ages and abilities, and patrons can customize the experience as they need to. It's a little more flexible, and it's also more equitable because asking the same goal from every person over the summer is really a one-size-fits-all that doesn't necessarily fit all. So for one kid, reading, for example, 20 hours over the summer may be very, very easy, and for another one, it may be very, very difficult. So this is going to let families have more choice in how their children's summers are structured. One more look at the tracker. The marketing department put this together as well. It folds up, it's about this big, and it is a beautiful paper piece. The incentives this year are a little bit different for youth and adults. Youth at day 15, 30, and 45 will receive a brand new free book that they can choose from our wide selection. And then at the 45th day, they can also take home our very adorable limited edition summer tote bag. Adults at day 15 receive a small journal with colorful edges on the pages. On day 30, they are able to receive a free book. And then on day 45, they would also receive that same tote bag. Another change this year is we now have a merch store that our marketing department is running. Our Spark shirts have adorable themed art on it this year, and you can order these even if you are a patron by checking out our merch website. We are also offering more food security opportunities this year. So many of you are probably familiar with the fact that we run the LINK program, and this is weekday lunch and snack for youth at 8 of our branches. It runs June 3rd through July 26th. However, this partnership with Fort Wayne's community schools only covers weekdays. So this year we were very lucky to start a new partnership with Blessings in a Backpack. This will happen at the same location as Link Lunches, and the way that it works is that kids can come in on Fridays and they can get a supply of food that will get them through the weekend, those days that we don't cover the lunch sites. This is happening every Friday, June 7th through July 26th. And at the end of the program, they also get a free backpack that they can take home and keep and use for the school year if they so desire. We also have our amazing Team Read program running again this year. This is a teen employment program. For many of these kids, this is their very first job. We offer professional learning opportunities, and their main job is to go to different parks, Boys and Girls Club, and our different branches to read with younger kids and play games with younger kids. This helps to get these children invested in reading and learning, because when you're a little kid, there is nothing cooler than getting to do what the big kids are doing, especially if the big kids are paying attention to you while you're doing it. This year we have hired 42 teens. We have 25 who are applying at Team Read for the very first time, and then we have 17 who are returning from previous years. This is a record high number of returners. Every year the returner rate gets a little bit higher, so we are retaining people, which is awesome. We also have 4 supervisors. Those are adults who have usually classroom experience, who are in charge of supervising the teens as they go from site to site. And we will see approximately 20 sites this year. I would also like to thank our sponsors, the Fullinger Foundation, the Friends of the Library, and the Allen County Public Library Foundation, who make this program possible. And I know that was a very quick fly-through, and at this time, if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to expound on anything that I just said.
Share with us how you get that information out to potential attendees.
So the question is how we get the information out to people who might participate in summer.
Yeah.
Yes. So there are a variety of ways that we do this. The marketing department has an entire communications plan that includes TV spots, it includes billboards, and then our dedicated staff, of course, are the front line of getting this message out. That is through word of mouth in the branches, and that is also through going into schools, going into daycares, going to community events, and spreading that message. Mari Hardacre, who is the manager of our teens department, and I are actually going to a Tin Caps game this weekend so that we can talk to people about the summer program. So it's really just about getting out there in the community and making sure people are aware of it.
Marty?
Well, I was going to say, it is on the app.
Yes.
I checked to make sure. Can you give us an idea, just kind of the scope of it? How many people participate the last few years? What's the budget, and how many things have we given away over the years?
So I have been here for 6 months, and a lot of the data doesn't live in my brain. I've seen it, but it's not memorized. I do know that last year we had about 10,000 people participating, and of those, about 8,000 were youth. And when I say youth, I'm saying 0 through 18 years. There's a smaller little population of adults who participate as well. This year we are open for pre-registration right now. We haven't pushed it a lot because I'm still doing staff training. I've been going around to every single branch and making sure that all of our staff are very comfortable with the program before we do our big push launch. So we've got about between 2,000 and 3,000 people signed up right now, and we don't start until June 1st. So we've got a pretty good jump on it. In terms of how many incentives we've given away over the years, I'm so sorry, I don't have that number in my brain.
It's a lot. I know
It
that.
is, yeah, I know it is thousands.
Yeah.
I can speak a little to the budget, if that might be helpful. So you mentioned our generous funders, the Follinger Foundation. This has become a signature program of Follinger. They have been a supporter for many, many years, and they believe in this program so much. We were awarded a 3-year grant of just over $1 million, $1,065,000. A lot of that does support the salaries of our team read and summer help. We also get additional funding through our friends. They gave $12,000, and our library foundation, and they gave $25,000. But Follinger, definitely, we could not do this.
They are the heavy
without them.
lifter. Yeah. Yes.
How do you define adult participation? Where do those individuals come from?
Adults who participate come from all walks of life in the community. They're patrons. They're often parents of children who are participating so that the entire family can do this together. It's very healthy for the kids to see their parents modeling reading and learning, because what we see our parents do is the thing that we are most likely to repeat in life, right? So often it is parents, and then sometimes it is just people who are very dedicated library patrons who love having this fun of reading and learning in the summer. We also have all abilities patrons. These are adults with intellectual disabilities who may live in congregate settings or who may not, and they are able to participate in sort of a hybrid model. They can participate in the adult activities if that's appropriate for them, or they can participate in the children's learning activities if that's appropriate. So we really try hard to make it flexible so that everyone in the county is able to participate, because you're all our patrons.
Any other questions? Super job, super program.
Thank you. And don't forget to order your Spark shirts. They're only up for 1 year.
Lost opportunity. It's not, the merch store is not on the app, so I think we need to get that on there.
It's in there under Connect with Us.
How am I supposed to know that?
It was top billing, but then I gave that to the Spark.
All right, there it is, okay.
And we
Fair enough.
appreciate it too.
Yes.
Okay, if there are no questions on Spark, let's move to the executive director's report.
Thank you, Ben. You have a written report in your packet, and I also have a few additions. Jacki was mentioning our All Abilities Club and our work with adults with intellectual disabilities. On that note, I'm thrilled to announce that our Grable branch manager, Rebecca Wolf, has been named a 2024 Mover and Shaker by Library Journal. This is one of the premier awards in our industry. Actually, the fact that Kurt, if you remember, won I Love My Librarian back in January, and Rebecca winning this, to have the same library win both awards in 1 year is pretty tremendous. But this award, put out by Library Journal each year, it awards recipients, and they represent a vibrant cohort of advocates, community builders, change agents, innovators, educators, and band battlers from all corners of the field. And Rebecca specifically was awarded for her work as an educator, and specifically with the All Abilities Club. She has spoken to the trustees in the past about her leadership and vision with giving programs for those in group settings who have intellectual disabilities. She has developed a national following for her work in this. She now is the moderator of a Facebook group of librarians and library staff across the country. I think there are about 900 people in that now, all exchanging ideas about how to serve this important population. Rebecca also spoke recently at the National Public Library Association conference on this topic. So she has truly become a national leader in this space, and we are so proud of her for winning this award. And speaking of the merch store, thank you, Marty, for that segue, because Rock the Plaza is coming back for its 17th year. It will feature 28 local bands and will take place every Saturday night from 6 to 10, starting June 15th. And this year's lineup includes fan favorites from a variety of genres, as well as 17 bands who have never played Rock the Plaza previously. And this year, for the very first time, you can buy in the merch store a Rock the Plaza t-shirt that lists all the bands from 2024 on the back. And a percentage of all sales in the merch store does go back to support our friends of the library. So you're helping the library when you buy our merch. And speaking of Friends of the Library, I saw some of you at our Night at the Library fundraiser on May 4th, and that was a collaboration between the Friends and the Literacy Alliance. It was a great success. We estimate attendance at approximately 190. We've received rave reviews. I've actually had more than one person ask if Kurt Witcher is available for parties because the tour he gave of the Fine Books Room was so, so wonderful. I think, Pat, you spoke to that. Yes. And we are still tabulating final sales. I was just at a Literacy Alliance board meeting a few days ago, and some bills are still coming in, but they are estimating that each organization will clear about $9,000. So good for goodwill and good for our bank accounts, too. We are looking ahead to Juneteenth, and this year's Roland Lecture is going to be on Juneteenth, so what an amazing opportunity there. And the presenter is Jonathan White, PhD. He is the editor of the Friends of the Lincoln Collections publication, Lincoln Lore, and the title of his presentation is Abraham Lincoln, Juneteenth and the Power of the Emancipation Proclamation. It will be on Juneteenth, June 19th, in the Main Library Theater at 3 o'clock. And following Dr. White's presentation, there'll be a reception in the Roland Center to thank the donors for the Roland Center. And Dr. White is going to be spending the entire day with us because earlier that day, he will be presenting a program to children featuring the children's book he wrote on Abraham Lincoln at our Grable branch. I also wanted to share some really heartfelt and touching feedback we've received recently about our security team. So as you know, we are actually rare in that a lot of libraries contract out for security. Our security officers are ACPL employees, and they do phenomenal work, and we're very, very proud of them. And one note that I put in your packet, I redacted the patron's name, but I wanted to read it. It's addressed to Vivian, and she is one of our security supervisors. It says, "Thank you for your help during my 4/9/24 visit. I got home okay, taking frequent rest. The world can get really small when health issues are unpredictable and sometimes outside our control. Your team's response helped me give confidence that if the rare unexpected occurs, help is available. You listened when I shared my abilities and limitations working with those areas. Thanks again." And then last week, I received an email from Jason Crowder with Fort Wayne PD. Last week, our security team literally saved someone's life, and I'm going to read you the email I received from Jason Crowder. "Your security team did a fantastic job saving a guy's life this morning, and this happened at the main library. He collapsed, and they applied an AED, which advised a shock, and all of our officers are trained on administering an AED. The medic stated that if not for their quick actions, the man would have likely died. Both medics and fire were impressed. Rarely is news of the positive variety. They deserve the day off. Thank you, Jason." And I wanted to read our officers who were involved in that particular incident, life-saving incident. They were Leah Morris, Sam Stahlholtz, Mike Fisher, Adrian Duval, and Nick Partaka. And I just wanted to let you know some examples of the life-affirming, life-changing work that our security officers do. They truly are heroes.
How did that come about?
Which part?
Well, how did they identify, was the individual passed out?
Yes, and non-responsive. And then you hook the machine up to them, and the machine does the analysis for you, and the machine will say if a shock is necessary.
No kidding.
I would just comment on that, because I'm in the library a bit, and it's just security staff has uniformly been wonderful to the patrons. They really are. I mean, that's, sometimes they're asked for help, just like, where are things? And they're always gracious, and they're always helping, even though that's not their job. And I've always, and they deal with situations that I've seen them deal with always very professionally, which I really appreciate.
They are. They definitely sometimes are under fire, but always show grace, and we're very, very grateful for them. Also wanted to share, and I put it in your packet, something from a blog called wheelchairtravel.org. And this is from a gentleman named John Morris who visited our library recently. John is the founder of wheelchairtravel.org, and it is one of the top internet publications regarding accessible travel. John himself is a power wheelchair user and a triple amputee. And John was the keynote speaker at the recent Power of Tourism luncheon that was held by the Visit Fort Wayne organization. And when he was here in Fort Wayne to make that presentation, he visited several locations around the city. Some he was announced and planned, and some he wasn't. And that was by design because he wanted to see what the experience would be like for somebody with disabilities using some of the main tourism assets in Allen County. So when he came to the library, we were not advised that he was coming. He did not identify himself as, "Hi, I'm John Morris, and I have this very, very large blog, and I'm going to write about you." He came in as any patron would and asked for help at our genealogy center regarding his own genealogy research. And as you can see, what I included in your packet, he was beyond pleased and beyond excited and wrote about it in his publication that went out to several thousand people. So we were just really thrilled to see that. And the librarian who worked with him mostly was John Beatty from our genealogy center, and John did a remarkable job. And John said later, I had no idea he was going to write about this. He was a patron and I served him, and there you go. And that's all I have for my report. But also, I also want to introduce Edith Helbert. Edith is right there. Edith is the manager of our Hessen-Castle branch and our Shawnee branch. And thank you for hosting us today. And if you would like, after the close of our meeting, Edith would love to give you a short tour of Hessen-Castle, including showing off their brand new 3D printer.
Okay, sounds like an offer we can't refuse. Any questions? Yes, Pat?
A comment and a question. Susan, if I understand right, the night at the library, that was the first time you've done that.
Yes.
So it's obviously been documented. That was a success, but I have to tell you, usually a first-time event can be real successful, but it is recognized as a time event. Boy, I thought you guys, I would have had no idea we hadn't been doing credit that was involved. And I'm hopeful, I assume, we're going to look at doing that in future years as well.
I definitely anticipate that. Yes, talks have already begun. And it was truly a labor of love and a collaborative effort. The Literacy Alliance, they were great to work with, but of course, our staff was amazing. There were about 45 of us there. Our events crew really had the heavy lift on that, and they were phenomenal. But we had security, we had custodial, we had our public services and genealogy teams giving tours. It just went beautifully. And you're right, for a first-time event, we hit it out of the park, I think. Yeah. Thank you.
Other comments? How about some new business? Anything that should come before the body? God bless you. None? How about the public? Do we have the public here or online? Quiet day. Okay. Well, seeing and hearing no other business and no public comment, I'll entertain a motion. We adjourn.
So moved.
Removed.
Second.
Thought you wanted to stay here. Can we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Have a safe Memorial Day. And don't forget the tour.
Thank you.
For the lake right now.
Anyone who would like a tour?
Why don't we
I gotta go to an
the
H
lobby set
with the county. That I had moved from Florida.
Can I borrow you for some signatures?
Sure.
This is our report from the last time, so our minutes.
Okay.
I'm just gonna ask